My name is Rev Donna Maurer, and I am the spiritual leader of the Sonoran Desert Center for Spiritual Living in Amado, Arizona. I'm here on YouTube with our music director, Heather O'Day, and Ruth Bennett, who is our practitioner of the day. We thank you for sharing your time with us, and Heather will ring the bells that open our service.
Hello, my name is Heather O'Day and I'm the music director at the Sonoran Desert Center for Spiritual Living. Let's begin our service today with some bells in celebration.
Thank you for joining us for our service from the Sonoran Desert Center for Spiritual Living. We know that wherever you are on your spiritual path, that you are welcome here. We, your ecclesiastical team, minister and practitioners, work to provide you with any tools, prayers, or treatments you may need to become even more successful in your spiritual practices. If you will please join me now in our opening prayer. We come together in this time and place as the one mind of God. It may appear that we participate at different times and different places, but our truth is that God is all in all. God is every place and every time, and there is no separation. We are all one. We take this time in our day to connect to that which is our expanded spirit, to that which makes us harmonious with our universe, that which brings us our abundance and prosperity, that which makes us happy and joy-filled, that which makes us feel loved and loving. So as we listen to Rev Donna's talk and take in Heather's sacred music, we are aware of the infinite spirit that manifests as each of us in this time and this place. And we anchor this knowledge in our hearts and our minds by saying together, and so it is.
So last week, I sang a song for you during the special music portion of our program called There Is Nowhere That Love Is Not by Jamie Lula. And I'd like to teach it to you this week, one verse at a time. Sometimes I forget where I come from. Sometimes I forget where I'm going to. Sometimes I get so confused I lose my way. Sometimes I know you feel the same. Chorus goes like this. There is no way that God is not. There is no way that God is not. There is no way that God is not. Everywhere I am, I know what I got. Let's do verse 1 again. Sometimes I forget where I come from. Sometimes I forget where I'm going to. Sometimes I get so confused I lose my way. Sometimes I know you feel the same. There is no way that God is not. There is no way that God is not. There is no way that God is not. Everywhere I am, I know what I got. Everywhere
Thank you, Heather. You know, our theme for September is finding our way. And last week, our topic was life finds a way. And today we're continuing that idea with our topic, love finds a way. Last week, I quoted Dr. Ian Malcolm from the film Jurassic Park. A scientist declares that the park's population is secure because all the dinosaurs are female. But Dr. Malcolm turns to the park owner, John Hammond, and says, John, the kind of control you're attempting is not possible. If there's one thing the history of evolution has taught us, is that life will not be contained. Life breaks free. It expands to new territories. It crashes through barriers, painfully, maybe even dangerously, and well, there it is. Life finds a way. But when we delve into love, we can say that it too cannot be contained. Love breaks free. Love expands to new territories. It crashes through barriers, painfully, maybe even dangerously. Love finds a way. I was watching a TED Talk from 2017 by Valerie Kaur called Three Lessons of Revolutionary Love in a Time of Rage. Valerie is a civil rights activist of Indian descent and an award-winning filmmaker, lawyer, faith leader, and founder of the Revolutionary Love Project, which seeks to champion love as a public ethic and wellspring for social action. In her talk, she describes her experiences with racism and prejudice. She says, my first encounter with hate was in the schoolyard. I was a little girl growing up in California, where my family has lived and farmed for a century. When I was told that I would go to hell because I was not Christian, called a black dog because I was not white, I ran to my grandfather's arms. Papa G dried my tears, gave me the words of Guru Nanak, the founder of the Sikh faith. I see no stranger, said Nanak. I see no enemy. My grandfather taught me that I could choose to see all the faces I meet and wonder about them. And if I wonder about them, then I will listen to their stories, even when it's hard. I will refuse to hate them, even when they hate me. I will even vow to protect them when they are in harm's way. That's what it means to be a Sikh, and that's S-I-K-H. And that's also what it means to practice revolutionary love. Because used this way, the term revolutionary means involving or causing a complete or dramatic change. And when a small child, or when you and I, can respond to something that is said to hurt, to demean, or to damage us with, I see no enemy, I see no stranger, then indeed we must be participating in revolutionary love. And that love finds ways to change the hearts and minds of those who would hate. Love finds a way to transform anything that is unlike itself. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, tells us love overcomes both hate and fear. However, love does not overcome hate and fear through controversy, argument, or force, but by a subtle power of transformation, transmutation, and sublimation. It is invisible in its essence, but apparent through its act. As light overcomes the darkness, as the presence of heat causes the coolness of a room to change until it is warm and comfortable, so the radiant action of love and peace dissipates fear, hate, and confusion. Love is a victor in every case. Valerie Kaur talks of her second experience of racism, and again, let me use her words. I'm 20 years old, watching the Twin Towers fall. The horror struck in my throat, and then a face flashes on the screen, a brown man with a turban and beard. And I realize that our nation's new enemy looks like my grandfather. And these turbans, meant to represent our commitment to serve, cast us as terrorists. And like Muslims, Sikhs became targets of hate. The first person killed in a hate crime after September 11 was a Sikh man standing in front of his gas station in Arizona. Balbir Singh Sodhi was a family friend I called uncle, murdered by a man who called himself patriot. He is the first of many to have been killed, but his story, our stories, barely made the evening news. I didn't know what to do, but I had a camera. I went to his widow, Joginder Kaur. I wept with her and I asked her, "What would you like to tell the people of America?" I was expecting blame. But she looked at me and said, "Tell them, thank you." 3,000 Americans came to my husband's memorial. They did not know him or me, but they wept with me. Tell them, thank you. So thousands of people showed up because, unlike national news, the local media told my uncle's story. And I looked up this man's story, and indeed he was beloved in his community of Mesa. Children told reporters how Balbir Singh would let them buy candy from his store, even if they didn't have enough money. The homeless shed tears as they recounted tales of his generosity. He took care of his family members living in the United States and sent money to family living in India. And when 3,000 people showed up for his memorial service, his widow was not filled with hatred or revenge, but with gratitude and revolutionary love. In the play Sleep of Prisoners, Christopher Fry writes, "The human heart can go the lengths of God." And I love that line. And if you've been with me for a while, you've heard it more than once. Because for me, it is an affirmation that love always finds a way. When I lived in Los Angeles, I heard a man speak of his horrific past. He had been an alcoholic and a drug addict. He had a wife, also an alcoholic, and a small child who was often neglected. In fact, the little girl was teased in school because she smelled bad. She could never count on being fed, so she kept bits of decaying food in the pockets of her coat. One day, a puppy followed her home. She was playing with it when her father came into the room. He saw her so happy and so loving to this puppy that in a drunken, drug-addicted, jealous rage, he took his gun and shot the puppy in front of her. And both she and her mother did not flinch or show any emotion because they knew if they did, that they would be next. The man who spoke that day went on to tell of his and his wife's recovery from their addictions. They were still married and they had healed their relationship. It became a loving relationship out of all of that. And the little girl who found that love in her parents now grew up to be a runway model. And the man said to us with tears in his eyes, "When my daughter travels throughout Europe, she calls me every evening, and she always ends her conversation with, 'Good night, Daddy, I love you.'" The human heart can go the lengths of God. You and I have the ability and the resiliency to transcend every hurt, every wound, every resentment. Because when we allow it, love finds a way. Marianne Williamson, in A Return to Love, says, "Love taken seriously is a radical outlook, a major departure from the psychological orientation that rules the world. It is threatening not because it is a small idea, but because it is so huge." We don't generally associate radical, major, threatening, or revolutionary with love. But if it means responding to hate with compassion, with wonder, with trying to find the story of another, then it is revolutionary. If love taken seriously means a complete transformation of our thinking, a relinquishment of a thought system based on fear, and the acceptance of a thought system based on love, then indeed these words seem to fit. Love is threatening because it threatens the ego. The ego is what keeps us separated from God and from each other. It tells us we need to protect ourselves from each other. It tells us that being loving and being vulnerable will expose our underbelly to the enemy, and the enemy is everybody else. Marianne Williamson says the ego is our self-love turned into self-hatred. The ego is our mental power turned against ourselves. It is clever, like we are, and smooth talking like we are, and manipulative like we are. The ego doesn't come up to us and say, "Hi, I'm your self-loathing." It's not stupid because we're not. Rather, it says things like, "Hi, I'm your adult, mature, rational self. I'll help you look out for number one." And then it proceeds to counsel us to look out for ourselves at the expense of others. This is what radical love, revolutionary love, transforms. Well, the ego teaches us selfishness, greed, judgment, and small-mindedness. Love reminds us there's only one of us here. Marianne Williamson says, love takes more than crystals and rainbows. It takes discipline and practice. It's not just a sweet sentiment from a Hallmark card. It is a radical commitment to a different way of being, a mental response to life that is completely at odds with the thinking of the world. It would take Valerie Kaur 15 years before she could talk to Frank Roque, the man who murdered her uncle, the man who said, "I'm going to go out and shoot some towel heads. We should kill their children too." In those 15 years, she allowed love to transform her hate, and she tended to her wounds so she would be able to listen to his. And while he still blamed all Sikhs and Muslims for the bombings, he was also able to say that he was sorry for killing her uncle. He said to her uncle's brother, Rana, "One day, when I go to heaven to be judged by God, I will ask to see your brother, and I will hug him, and I will ask him for forgiveness." Dr. Holmes asks, where is the darkness when the light enters? Where is the lie when the truth is told? It is as though it never were. It was only a supposition. The world has yet to understand that there is a great difference between a false belief and capital R reality, and that when capital R reality enters, the false belief tends to sink into its native nothingness. What is the capital T truth and the capital R reality is that within the human heart lies the heart of God. Within the heart of God lies the love of God. The Course in Miracles says, love does not conquer all things, but it does set all things right. When we lead with love, we see no stranger, we see no enemy. When we lead with love, we put in motion the energy that sets all things right. And we become change agents, not just for ourselves, but for our world. And when you and I lead with love, love will find a way. Thank you. Namaste.
When you're losing your way, when it's too much to take, when your will is broken, I'm here. I can be a shelter, be a safe place to land. When your heart feels empty, I'm here. I have enough love for both of us. I know it's gonna be okay. I know it's gonna be both of us, 'cause love always finds a way. Love always finds a way. If the future's unknown, don't have the answers, may not know where to go. What you need is inside you, just trust, and you know I have enough love for both of us. I know it's gonna be okay. I have enough love for both of us, 'cause love always finds a way. Love always finds a way. I'm your light in the storm, I'm your place to call home. I'm your beacon of hope. You can count on me, you can count on me. I have enough love for both of us. I know it's gonna be okay. I have enough love for both of us, 'cause love always finds a way. 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 Love always finds a way.
Thank you, Heather. And thank you for joining us today. We would like to continue our messages with you and would greatly appreciate your financial support. Please visit our website, cslaz.org, and click on the donate button. And we truly thank you for your consideration. And now I'm turning our services over to Ruth for our closing affirmative prayer.
Thank you for joining us today. Please remember that your practitioners are always praying for you. But if there is something in particular on your heart or mind, would you please send us a prayer request and know that this mighty team is working for you. Practitioners are also available for individual sessions. There's generally a fee involved, but contact a practitioner to get details. And don't forget, we're here to serve you in many ways. We have our Friday meditations, coffee with the Rev on Monday mornings, and Wednesday evening concerts with Heather. So as the service closed, I wanted to read a short paragraph from our textbook, Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. If we believe in suffering, we shall suffer. Life responds to us in the way we approach it. We should choose that which we wish to embody, and by constant attention to it, take on all its characteristics. Let us choose to be identified with power, with love and beauty, with peace and happiness. Let us identify ourselves with abundance and success. So if you would like to get comfortable and join me in our final treatment. God, through the working of the law, is all that we need to manifest the peace, harmony, abundance, love, and all the other qualities we are, we desire, and can express. I know that life responds to me, to us, in the way we approach it. Everything we need and more shows up to the extent that we are open to receive our good. So I accept for everyone listening that this good, these God qualities are ours right here and right now, that the health we desire is ours right here and right now. The love we seek is ours right here and right now. The prosperity is ours. Joy is ours. The infinite harmony of the universe is ours right here and right now. Our attitude of gratitude clears space for all our good to manifest. I am grateful. We are grateful for the opportunities to know these greater truths for ourselves, for our center, our communities, and our world. It is not our responsibility to figure out how all this good comes to be, and in fact, it is our responsibility to release any concerns or fears or beliefs in lack and limitation. So together, we release anything that does not service us, and we open our hearts and minds to our infinite good. And so it is. Namaste.